But his delight is in the law of the Lord, and in his law doth he meditate day and night. Let me tell you about my great God. Hey guys, Pastor Tim here. Hope you guys are doing great. Hope you're ready to get your day started off in God's Word. We are continuing on with the building of the temple and some other stuff in Solomon's reign in 1 Kings chapter 7. We kind of finished the main temple last chapter, or at least reading about it last chapter. And Solomon continues on here. He builds his own house. He builds another house. And he also focuses on building of the outer court and the porch for the temple itself. And these projects took an additional 13 years. So all in all of Solomon's building projects took about 20 years for him to finish. Before I get into some things with this chapter, I just want to make some, or define some things for you, because there are going to be some things, there's a lot of stuff that's talked about in this chapter, a lot of things that were made, that were molded, that were built for use in the temple at that time. And so some of the things it talks about building up pillars, and then we get this word, if you're using the King James, it says on the top of the pillars they built these capiters. All right, interesting word. All that is that is what they called the crown of the pillar. So you guys know when you look at pillars, whether on buildings or something like that, usually you got your pillar, the main part, and then at the top it has a crown at the top of it. All right, some of you guys have a crown along the ceiling of your rooms and so forth. That's pretty much what they mean by that. Now, the capiter, the crown of the pillar, was a very, especially the two big ones, which we'll talk about later, was very ornate. It was very elegant. It was just this very grand thing. It wasn't just a simple crown at the top of a pillar. And the chapter goes into great detail about what was put into it, what was sculpted into those capiters. Another thing it talks about were these bases, these golden bases that they built. All right, and that's pretty much just a base, a flat base with wheels on it, and on top of that they put these molten brass lavers. Now the lavers are basins, all right? They're like big bowls or tubs or something that they would fill with water, and then they would roll it around on the bases, all right, to go to different places in the temple to perform certain duties. All right, now where they would get all this water was from something we see in the chapter when he says he casted a molten sea. All right, now it didn't mean he had a volcano and a bunch of lava around him. It just meant that in the temple there was a giant basin. So the lavers were smaller basins that they could transport on wheels, but they would get the source of the water that they were used for different things in the temple from a large basin. All right, and it was very big. In fact, some people believe it was just as big as the Holy of Holies, and it just held a bunch of water. And the Bible goes into, in this chapter, the description of that molten sea, that large basin. It was completely made out of brass, and it was on top of, and unlike a bathtub that has 4 legs, this large basin stood on top of 12 brass oxen. All right, 12 statues of oxen it stood on top of. So it was a very grand thing. So that's just a bunch of different definitions. As you go through this chapter, you may have been confused, like, what does he mean by capiters? What does he mean by molten sea? What's a laver? All right, so hopefully that helps you understand some of those things. What I want to focus today on for my main thing that stood out to me was when he talked about at the entrance of the temple in the front porch, he built 2 pillars, or he had King Hiram build 2 pillars on either side of the entryway, and he called one Jachin and the other Boaz. All right, now Jachin means he will establish, and Boaz means he is my strength, talking about the Lord. All right, it's just a great picture of what it meant for Israel as they came in to worship God. God was their strength and stability. All right, when they came in to worship him and they continued to follow him and keep his commandments, he would continue to give them strength to fight their enemies and stability to occupy and stay in the land. All right, and that's very much can be true for us today as well. Each and every day when we worship God, not just when you go to church, but when we each and every day choose to worship God, follow him and obey him and glorify him with our lives, he gives us strength to face the trials of our days, and he gives us stability in times of unrest, especially in what's going on in the world today. All right, a lot of uncertainty, especially with the upcoming election and so forth. Make it a point to each and every day worship God, not just but obviously it's good to start off with your daily in the Word, with your daily bread, get into your devotions, but each and every day just seeking to glorify him in everything you say, do, with those around you, being a testimony. All right, and you'll find that God will give you the strength and stability you need to face the trials and uncertainty that this world likes to bring your way each and every day. That's all I got for today's chapter, guys. I hope you have a great day. Stay safe, stay healthy. God bless.